If you look around my office, you might realize I have kind of a love for dark, twisted cartoons. And a lot of that may be because I grew up with a lot of dark, twisted cartoons. Now, I'm not talking about the ones like Batman or ones that were meant for older kids. I'm talking about the ones that were meant for little kids, and they probably should have been made for little kids. And I loved the hell out of them. I enjoyed how much they scared me. I loved how every time you got through one, you felt a little tougher. So I'm doing a series reacting and reviewing them. We're gonna analyze how creative they are, how dark they are, and if the dark, twisted tone was warranted. So join me in taking a look at some dark tunes. You might be wondering why I'm wearing the same clothes as last week. Because it takes courage to wear the same clothes as last week. Haha, Tie-In Courage Month! I shot these all in a day. Heads of Beef came out in 2000. It's another one that got a lot of requests, and there's definitely a reason for it. Let's take a look.
We interrupt this program.
So this is one of those episodes where most of it you think something else is going on, and it's revealed at the end that the creepy thing you think is going on is not going on. So I was debating whether or not to do it, but I think it leads you on so long and in such a creative way and a dark way that I think it warrants being here.
Oh.
As you can see, Mural is feeling very sick, and Eustace is always supportive as usual.
Where's my dinner? You were gonna make hamburgers.
They belong together.
If you ain't feeding me, I'm going out to get me something to eat.
She asks him to go get a scone, but he's also very hungry, so he's gonna go and get a burger as well. I know this bakery is nothing like mind-blowing or anything, but there are two details I really like about this. One is that the sky is just full of stars, really giving you an idea that this is out in the middle of nowhere, because the more you get away from the city and lights and buildings and so forth, you can really make out the stars super well. And I also really like the reflection of the light at the bottom from the building. That's just a nice little touch, especially with the floor being very blue, and you have a great contrast with the night sky there and everything. So I mean, it's a little thing, but it looks really nice.
Gotta get me a hamburger first.
I like how he laughs like he's getting away with something. I mean, that's just such an odd person who, just by getting himself something to eat before he gets what he's supposed to go out there to get, like he's doing something diabolical and evil, like he wants to do something diabolical and evil against his wife, but he can't, so he's seeing this as the diabolical and evil thing. It's weird. Maybe I read too deep into that, but no, I read too deep into that. I like how Really Cheap isn't just an advertisement for the place, it's actually the name, it's part of the title. That always makes me laugh.
Welcome to Jean Bones, home of the best-looking, juiciest burgers in all of nowhere.
There are so many things I like about this cook. One, I love that it's a pig, and yet he serves meat. Two, I love that it's an animal at all at this place. It's funny. Three, he has this very jolly look on his face, but it's also kind of threatening. The teeth and the pale skin just give an impression that there's something a little off about him, which the show is always really great at doing. It either hammers in that something is really off about someone, or just has a weird little touch, or a couple of weird little touches, and this guy just is dripping with personality. I just love this dude. Like, he has this really nice smile, but it's also a smile you could see as he's ready to eat you, pretty much. So I really love this dude. Even giving him yellow eyes, you wouldn't think about it, but how many friendly characters do you usually see with yellow eyes? It's not associated with something very healthy. I also love the design of this customer, and I'm finding more and more just characters in the background are usually given these really interesting designs. Like, you could just throw a generic whatever on there, but look at this dude. His skin is pink, his hair is bright yellow, his shape is pretty much the circle with these little stems coming out for arms and legs, and he has the bowler hat. I mean, you're not gonna forget that. Another great shot here, and what I like in this one, where I usually praise the colors in a lot of Courage episodes, this one it's a little bit more the lighting, and the lighting is a little different because in a lot of these episodes the shadows are very heavy, and again you have the colors that are super bright against them, but this one really has that kind of eerie diner feel, like it's a place in the middle of nowhere, something can happen to you and nobody would know about it, and there's just kind of that fluorescent light it's a little too bright, but a little too dark at the same time. Like, it's blurry, but it's also dim. And I think that really creates kind of an uncomfortable feeling. Everybody's been to a diner like this before, or a hotel like this before. And here you have the cook grabbing the guy's hat and briefcase, and look at this smile. That's a creepy smile, but as we discover later, it could be a totally regular smile, a very nice, gentle smile, and that is what it's supposed to be, but because of the way he's designed, you could easily take it the other way. That's really what this whole episode is about, taking something the wrong way. So I'm not gonna lie, I laughed hard when I first saw that. That is so funny. And it's even funnier when you get to the end and you know what it really is. I mean, okay, you're watching this, spoilers, you know what it is. That it's a person that actually carves out faces and sculpts in meat. When you know that, it's even funnier thinking back that in the context of this show, that if someone was killed in the meat, they would look like the meat. When actually it is somebody that has to sculpt it. So I just love that idea. Like, it isn't, if you hack up someone's face and cook it up, it's not gonna look like meat. It's still gonna look like the person's face in this universe, or at least that's how Courage is interpreting it. And even this cook, the more I think about it, he's probably giving him this burger like, hey, look at this, isn't that neat? Doesn't it look like the person that just walked by? But he's confusing it for they killed him.
It's my wife's special, a head of beef.
Once you know the context, that is kind of funny. I would laugh at that too. I like he just carries that around with him wherever he goes. He never knows when he might need it to scare Courage. Another great shot there with him silhouetted. I mentioned last week about a red door usually meaning danger, and there you go, you got a red door. Again, it's interesting seeing an episode where there's not a ton of color jumping out at you, and again, I really think that's because it's set in a diner, and a lot of the creepiness of a diner in the middle of a night, especially if it's abandoned and it's very run down, is that it is very colorless, especially the basement of a diner. I mean, if the diner has no color, the basement's really gonna have no color.
Here, we have a new customer. He has possibilities.
So I will say, I knew it was not going to be what they're making it look like, that they're actually taking people and dogs, you know, and cooking them up, but I couldn't quite figure out what it was. It took me a bit of time to put it together.
Delicious.
That's where I figured it out. If I did have one problem with this, I think after that scene, they should have gotten to the reveal pretty quick. I don't think you quite needed Courage to run around here, but something it could have been that I find out talking to animators and showrunners is that in the old days you used to have to stretch out a show to meet the time limit, which used to be, you know, roughly 24 minutes. But now, since commercials have increased more and more, it's anywhere from 20 to 19 minutes. So now they're looking more and more to cut stuff down and get a lot more information squeezed into something. So this is back in 2000. This might have still been the time when they had to stretch stuff out a little bit. If you see a joke repeat a couple times in The Simpsons, like say a line over and over, like, dental plan, Lisa needs braces, it wasn't because they were trying to kind of troll the audience or try a different kind of joke. It was because they needed to fill up the time.
Sweetie, did you bring me that dog?
Here you see his wife, which is like a lot of cartoons where you have someone's spouse is so similar and they're so in love and they're so much alike, they even look alike. And I could be wrong, but I think this is the same voice actor doing the wife's voice too.
I could just eat him up.
If not, that almost makes it funnier because they got someone to sound like the guy to sound like his wife. So Courage takes off, leaving Eustace behind, which I don't think happens that often. I just love that he always tries to save the both of them, and then he just completely abandons him this time. And even when he's back with Muriel there, he's feeling bad. He's afraid of whatever happened, but he's not going back.
It is a true work of art.
But you see he's fine, and the other guy is fine, and he actually runs an art gallery, and this was all for sculpting food.
I still want to sink my teeth into that cute little dog.
Well, who's hungry? That is Heads of Beef. I do like it. I will admit I was debating whether or not to put it on here because, again, it is technically a happy ending. Nothing that dark is happening, but the suggestion throughout the whole thing is pretty strong and is kind of creepy, and I like the way they like that diner, and that dude is effectively creepy, even though it's revealed he's just a really nice guy who has a strange choice of words, like she has plans for you. But I do really enjoy this episode. I thought it was pretty clever, even if you can kind of figure it out. It takes you a bit. It takes you a bit to figure out exactly what is going on, and it is a clever reveal. And I think the idea of stories where someone is cooking up people, I mean, that's such a classic, scary idea that's told in so many campfire stories and movies and shows and such. So it's nice to see Courage do something with that idea as well. So thank you so much for the recommendation. I'll see you at the next one.